So today we are working on this gigantic Denali truck. This is a really good customer of ours, and this is his work truck. We're going to do a paint enhancement. We already did a full interior, and I did a little video on that as well. So when that video is ready, I'll have it up in the card or down below. But now in today's video, I want to show you guys what polishes and all-in-one polishes can you choose to do a paint enhancement to get the results that you want. There are so many choices out there, so many different polishes. How do you choose which one is going to work for you? Let's talk about that. Now with this truck, because it is a work truck, it's a daily driver, we don't have to go for perfection. In fact, he is selling this truck, I believe, so we may not see this one in the future. We may see a different one, so we'll see that when he gets another truck. But for today, let's focus on some of the defects that we can reduce on this paint. You can already see it has lots of little dents from acorns. That's actually from acorns. Isn't that crazy? All over the hood and on the roof as well. But now as we look at the paint, it's a metallic paint, and we have water spots, and we do have some swirls. When you take your lights like this and shine it on the paint, you're going to see some of those defects kind of come through. It's kind of hard to see with this metallic paint. It's kind of nice. It's actually very forgiving, but you can definitely see some wash swirls right there. Usually it gets worse down towards the bottom. Oh, there it's actually pretty bad. And here. So there are going to be isolated areas around the vehicle that are going to be worse than others. So this is the type of stuff that we want to remove. All that movement that we see there with the light refracting off those little micro scratches and swirls, and there's actually a big scratch right there, that's what we want to reduce. Not 100%, because that's not what the customer is paying for. If the customer was paying for it, yes, we would try to shoot for 90% plus. But in today's video, and for most of our jobs, we're doing paint enhancements because that is our demographic. Customers love it because they're not overpaying. They don't need it because it's work trucks, work vehicles, daily drivers. They don't need full corrections. All they need is paint enhancements. They want reduction of about 50 to 75%, and that is perfect for them. It fits their budget and it fits their needs. So that's why you see us do a lot of these paint enhancements and not full corrections, because that's just not our bulk of the business. So let's pick something to reduce these swirls, reduce them by at least half, and get a really, really nice gloss. Now, the pillars I usually try to shoot for 90% plus because they are jet black and they're just right in your field of vision. The customer's gonna see that all the time. And we also wanna try to remove a lot of these water spots on the glass. Now we also have two new polishers, new to us, from ShineMate. So what are we using to get these results? That looks incredible. What we're using is Vonixx Blend. This is a ceramic infused, so it has protection, polish. It's an all-in-one. This stuff is incredible. We have been using the Vonixx products for over a year now, and we are loving them. This produces incredible results. We're gonna top it with their Blend spray sealant. These two go hand in hand, and they're actually designed for darker colored vehicles. This is actually their black edition, so it goes really well with dark vehicles. Now we could have chosen something like the Meguiar's 210, which is their Ultra Pro finishing polish. This stuff is not old, it is not outdated, it is still incredible stuff. Whatever fits your budget and your needs, you're gonna have to kind of choose for yourself what works for you. There are so many different options because of many different people's likes and dislikes. So choose what works for you. We're gonna be using these today. We'll have links to those down below if you wanna try them out for yourself, but let's give them a go on this vehicle. Let's see some of the results we can get. So here is the before and what we just polished. Instantly, you can see the depth of color. The color changes, the metallic pops, And all those weird water spots that were here, completely obliterated. That was just a few light passes, nothing crazy. You can really see the change right there. A very distinct line. Now, this paint is fairly easy to work with. You might encounter softer paints, harder paints that will, you know, be more of a challenge. However, this one is coming out incredibly well, and we're simply using an all-in-one polish. Yeah, this is awesome. Now, this machine, as you saw, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. This thing is so extremely smooth and powerful. I didn't feel any hesitation or stalling, at least not as of yet. We'll, you know, continue to use it. Love this polisher. I wish it was cordless because I hate corded polishers. Well, I don't hate them. I just, you know, it's nicer to have a cordless polisher, but I have to say that thing is so smooth. The smoothest machine I have ever used. Sorry, Rupes and Max Shine, but this is, I think, one of the best, smoothest polishers I've ever used. And that's just subjective. That's just to me. Now, because of the nature of all-in-one polishes, they are going to gum up your pads a little bit more than regular polishes and compounds. So to clean these out, you can use a brush, you can use the pad washer, but I don't want to use the pad washer only because I don't necessarily need to wash all this out. I just need to clear the foam cells of this polishing residue and just kind of clean it out a little bit. You can use compressed air, you can use a brush, those are totally fine and safe to use. Will they destroy pads? I think some pads might be a little sensitive to it. These Lake Country Orange pads are extremely tough, and they're one of the cheapest ones out there. That's why you see me using these flat Lake Country pads, is because they are incredibly tough pads, extremely underrated. So all you need to do is use your air compressor like this. You can turn the machine on or just start the air compressor with your tool like this at the edge of the pad, and it'll start to spin. So gently going over the pad like that is enough to clear all the foam cells of any of that extra residue. Blow it into a bucket that you sprayed the sides down with water that kind of catches the dust, or just blow it outdoors like we did. Now, do you remember those horrible defects that were here? I think it was actually a rotary polisher that, I don't know, maybe from the dealership or someone else that tried to do some polishing here. You can't see it in the flat light. When you put the light on it, you could definitely see it, but now that's all cleared up. Now, true, yeah, we have a deep scratch right there. That's not coming out. We're not concerned about that. We're concerned about the overall appearance, and those horrible swirls that were there from the polisher are now gone. I did a small section because I want to show you the areas over here as a before and after. So all cleared up, looking incredible. Actually, it's just a little bit of residue right there that just didn't wipe off completely. But once we are done polishing, I'm going to go over the entire vehicle with that blend sealant. Just a light application to top it, and you can get 6+ months out of that. Or more, depending on how the truck is cared for. So awesome, awesome results. Now, you saw that I did the whole door here But here I only did half the door. Why? Well, it's because I needed to concentrate on this area. This was worse than any other areas, so I spent a little bit more time and concentrated on this smaller area here instead of just doing the entire door. Totally up to you. You could have done the entire door and then concentrate on this area, or vice versa, and still do the whole door. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. Your speed, your methods, your techniques, you'll develop that over time. If you're just beginning to polish, stick with small sections until you get used to it, and then you'll see that you'll be able to work into bigger and bigger sections once you feel more comfortable with your polish and the machine and the amount of defects that are on the vehicle as well. But the results here speak for themselves. It is looking incredible. Now, something else that some people say is that all-in-ones like this, and especially people used to say this with 3D Speed, that they simply fill, and once you wash the vehicle, it's going to come right back. Is that true? Let's put that to the test right now. We're going to use a strong panel wipe. The Epic Ceramic Final Prep Wipe is a strong panel wipe that's going to remove any fillers. So let's test that. And again, sometimes these create a little bit of drag and it can cause any towel, even the softest. We're going to use this nice plush soft towel here to wipe it down gently, and let's see if anything returns. I'm doing this in real time so that we can really see if anything returns. Just for good measure, I'm going to do it twice. I'm not going to spray on the paint itself because it creates overspray in other panels, and I don't want that. So here we're going to wipe it down with a nice soft towel, and let's see if anything returns. Do we see anything yet? Did it just fill? Are all those nasty swirls and the buffer trails coming back? Let's zoom in. Or does it look exactly like it did before? I think it looks really, really good. You're going to see some minor swirling in there. Yeah, of course you are. Because I'm not going full paint correction. But it looks exactly the same. But it looks exactly the same as it did. Just like over here. And just like over here, where I just polished, it's exactly the same. So, no, it doesn't just fill. Is it doing some filling? Yeah, I'm sure it's doing a little bit of filling. You can see some little minor swirlage right there. But then again, it's kind of the same over here, where I'm not going full correction. I'm simply getting rid of those horrible major swirls and hazing on the paint. It doesn't look like this over here. This is what we're getting rid of. It's looking like this. So does it fill? It probably fills in, I don't know, like 5 to 10%, but that's about it. It removes all the major defects here. Now that is also due to the fact that we are using it in a certain way. We're polishing the panel like we would using a compound or a regular polish. So if you use an all-in-one like 3D Speed or this blend and actually do nice slow overlapping passes, teeny bit of pressure, you're going to have true removal of swirls and defects. So it all depends on how you use the product as well. A lot of people trash talk 3D Speed, but I was able to get the same type of correction using 3D Speed using these techniques. And unfortunately, not a lot of people talk about the techniques on how to use all-in-one polishes and the true results you can actually get from them. One last thing to do, and it's completely optional. I like to do it just because it adds more protection, and sometimes there's little smears here and there, and as I'm going around the vehicle, I might as well use some extra protection. So I'm going to use the Vonixx Blend ceramic spray. So this is actually a blend of ceramic and carnauba and all sorts of different polymers, all formulated into this quick sealant, basically. So I'm going to spray this onto the towel, and just a light application over everything, except the glass. I'm not going to use it on the glass. But over all of the paint and the chrome, then this stuff. But over all the paint and the chrome, this stuff will leave a nice, slick, glossy surface. It's already glossy as it is. That extra protection, I think, is always a plus. The paint, it feels so good. This thing is almost done. Now, what about the chrome grille here? Now, I've actually demonstrated on this exact truck how to get into these areas, and actually it was a little quick video I put on Instagram or something. And I got some really weird, goofy comments about how to get into these little areas. Now, at the time I was using these little like quick stick things, and there's all sorts of different options. Whatever's flat and, you know, a little bit of flex and a little bit of stability and a little bit of flex to these little things. You just put a towel and you can get into all these little areas. Now, I was demonstrating on how to get these areas polished. Not necessarily cleaned, but polished, because you always get water spots on these areas. And some people were commenting, oh, just quickly brush it and put a spray sealant on it and rinse it and call it a day. What? No. Water spots. You need to polish this. Obviously, they don't run a detailing business. Here's how we're going to polish these areas so that it doesn't look like this. Now, it's not necessarily quick, but it's not a, you know, complicated way of having to clean these things. Using tools like this on microfiber, I'll show you how to do it. So just a little bit of spray on your towel. I'm just simply going into these areas. It's going to be a little time consuming, but it's okay. It's just what you have to do sometimes. So these little quick stick things, whatever little tool you can find, works really well. With just a towel. You can put some polish on here if you want, but I find that just a spray detailer or the sealant is going to work fine. But if it does need a little bit more cut, then you may have to use the polish on this as well, and then go back over it. So it'll just take a little bit of time, but it's way faster than trying to stick your fingers into here, because this little tool will just speed things up a lot more. So before, after.